I want to start out today um, with a little relaxation, because one of the keys to technique is always starting from a position and a feeling of total relaxation, and then just gently easing into the positions where your muscles are going to start to tighten up, so that you can feel how that is wrong a bit. So I'm going to kind of start out by having you tense up a few parts of your body. Like, let's start with put your hand out like this, and you can kind of rest it maybe on a table or something like that in front of you. See if you can feel so that your hand feels totally relaxed. When I did that, originally I had my hand out like this, and then I'm thinking, oh, relax every muscle, and my hand just kind of naturally starts to curl a little bit like this. And I want you to kind of think of a cutoff at your elbow and tell yourself, okay, there's absolutely no muscle tightness, no gripping going on, and just kind of see what your hand wants to do as it goes completely relaxed, standing up in front of you. Is it kind of curling a bit like my hand is?
Oh yeah, it feels pretty relaxed, and like my fingers want to fall down more, like there's weight on them, but they just can't. So they're kind of just like at the maximum position they could kind of naturally fall down.
That's good. All right. Now,
I'd like to try it with my other hand eventually though, because this hand actually has sustained some injuries that might make it a little bit different.
okay. So right now, I want you to now go ahead and tell all the muscles from your wrist up through your fingers, tell them all, go ahead and relax a little more if they can. As you get a good exhale, kind of feel that wave of relaxation go all through your hand. And just kind of focus your thoughts on that area between your elbow and the tips of your fingers. See if you can think of any tension that maybe you weren't conscious of before. See if there's anything that's trying to tighten up. Maybe something that thinks, oh, I need to make a fist, and go ahead and let that go. You don't need to tighten anything. Maybe think in terms of your wrist a little bit. Sometimes it helps just to do tiny little bends just to confirm there's nothing going on that's tightening up beyond the most relaxed you can find there. Now kind of remember that feeling in your mind, because we're going to go the complete opposite. Now I want you to slowly at first start to tighten up the muscles in your forearm. See if you can think, okay, I want my forearm to be like Popeye. I want it to be big and tight, and like if you're going to show somebody your forearm muscles, see if you can make it pop out a little bit.
Without moving my wrist or hand?
Yeah, just make it bigger. Say maybe you have a sleeve that you need to kind of fill with a little more arm area.
I keep engaging my bicep.
Yeah,
I can feel it a little bit different in my forearm, but it's not changing. It doesn't look any different.
that's okay. It could be little things you can't even feel, but almost every part of our body has muscles that understand get bigger, get smaller.
I can definitely feel some tension there where there wasn't earlier.
Okay. And now bring that up into your hand more. And let's make a gentle fist at first. And now
Okay.
see if you can make that fist a little tighter. And think what that is feeling like all throughout our area of focus here. And then imagine you got something in your fist that you just got to crush. Like you got a rock in there that you need to smash. Just for a second. And then let up. Relax. See where your hand wants to relax to at that point. Mine kind of wants to stay in this fist right here.
Yeah, mine kind of wants to open a little bit.
Yeah, that's might be
Like,
natural for your muscles right there. But
like
the key here is to focus on that areas of all that tightness that we added into there. All of that's totally optional, right? You don't have to be tight. You can be loose if you want. We kind of know that instinctually for a position like this. Now, there's a lot of other muscle positions that might become similarly tight, but we may not realize consciously, like we do with this one, that they don't have to be. We can be in that position without it being tight. Like, say, let's try. So I'm going to fold my hand. So it's going to make kind of a 90-degree angle like that. If you can support the elbow, that might be helpful. Let's start out again back to relaxed feeling, because you want to have in your mind that totally relaxed feeling before we go into making it a little bit tight. So see if you can just let it go, see where it wants to go. My hand kind of wants to do this when I just say, go wherever you like, just be totally relaxed.
it's not often my hands are so still. It's actually kind of nice.
Do you feel any tightness from your elbow up to your fingers there? Even just the slightest bit. If you do, see if you can, on your next exhale, relax it. Let it know it
Well,
doesn't have
just
to do anything.
I think what I'm sensing is probably just resisting letting it just fall down completely, like the whole forearm. When you're doing something like this, it's hard to tell when like am I trying to keep my arm upright or is it tension? Because because I do kind of just want to lay it down on the table and hurt.
Mm-hmm. So when you get that feeling, that, yeah, okay, obviously, if you were to completely relax your entire arm, let me just do that real quick, it's just going to fall over like that. So what helps when you do that is, um, see, let it go for just a second, see which way it falls, and then see if you can kind of just balance it the other way. See if you can tilt it a little bit the other direction. Like mine wants to fall this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it just a little bit so there's more weight going the other direction. And then let go again. See, I just completely let go of that arm and it didn't move anywhere.
And I think I'm there. I think I know what you're talking about. I think I do have it kind of balanced.
Cool.
But then maybe
Balance,
there's some tension then. Balanced?
yeah, balance is one area where your body will, even when you think you're relaxed, if you don't feel balanced, then your body will, and your mind will override that intention of being relaxed and say, okay, but I really don't want to fall. Our bodies are always worried about falling.
Yeah.
We're upright bipeds species, which is not the most balanced body configuration. It's not like we're a crab down on 6 legs where if it just passed out, it would be almost in the same position as if it were standing up. It's not going to hurt itself. But us, we got our heads right up there, and if we were to fall, we could hurt ourselves. So there's always kind of this struggle between wanting to be relaxed and wanting to feel safe and secure. And our bodies will almost always choose safe and secure over relaxed. So what we got to do is convince it that the gravitational forces that it's always resisting are not going to make it go anywhere. So that's where you get into that balance point a bit. Now listen again to everything from your elbow to fingertips. Do you feel anything wanting to hold on? Do you feel it trying to resist gravity or trying to tighten up? Now, on your next
I don't think
exhale,
so.
totally release that arm and see which way it falls, if it falls.
I think I've got it to where it's kind of falling backwards towards my bicep in a balanced position, and it can only go that way so far. So I think it's reached a little bit of natural resistance against my bicep, so it's balanced.
That's good. Yeah, it's always good to be real balanced when stretching, so that we're engaging the minimal muscles absolutely necessary, and maybe even no muscles to maintain that posture. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the wrist fold a little bit. And let's do this real slow, because you want to be aware that, all right, stuff at some point along this bend is going to start to tighten up. And in our minds, we might think that, hey, this is natural. Obviously, there's tendons and bones and things that prevent you from going, a full 180-degree wrist bend here. But if you just do a tiny bit, a little 10-degree bend, let's try a little 10-degree bend and see if that can be relaxed as well.
Kind of have to move the perpendicular state of my forearm though to
Yeah,
accommodate the more weight on the left.
that's going to move more weight that direction. So you might have to shift your elbow a little bit to be back balanced again while still slightly folded.
10% of like completely level, like here.
Yeah, like
10%
10
of 90 degree.
degrees. Yeah, so 45 degrees would be an even perpendicular, so 10 degrees might be kind of like that. Just
Okay.
enough so you can see that there's a tiny bend.
Okay.
Now we're going to keep going over and keep listening. Focus on that wrist area. See if you can feel the first point at which something feels different. Anything that's different from the feeling of initial relaxation. I want you to tell yourself, listen to that and say, hey, this is me tightening up, even if
Well,
it's
I
just
think
a bit.
at this point, I feel like I have to push it to go any further, so it wouldn't be relaxed.
Okay. So at this point, do you feel anything tight?
A little bit of discomfort here, but I wouldn't say tight. It's kind of a new position, probably.
Okay. Now I want you to tell yourself that that's not natural. That is tightness. There's absolutely no physical structures at this angle that need to tighten up or that would resist anything. The only thing that would cause any feelings like that is muscle tightness. Now I want you to see if you can visualize in your mind where exactly those muscles are that feel different, that don't feel quite as relaxed as they were. And see if you can, on your next exhale, tell them, hey, you don't have to do that, what you're doing. You can relax just like you were at the top. See if that goes away at all.
It disappeared completely, and I forgot about it. And then I was like, wait, what are we talking about? Oh, the discomfort is gone.
It's gone.
Literally, that's just what happened to my brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did move my forearm a little bit more perpendicular. I think I pushed it too far to the right to I overbalanced the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even then, after I moved it back perpendicular, it was total discomfort. But then I actually kind of I started thinking about something and I got distracted for a second. And then I was like, oh yeah, we're talking about the discomfort. And I was like, oh, it's gone. Yeah. So now I'm as far as I can go without pushing, but there is no discomfort.
Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start to push a little bit and see if you can push. And you want to think of your how tight it gets. See right there, I'm feeling about level 3 out of 10. Now I'm going to take it a little further, maybe up to a level 4. And now I'm just going to see how far it'll go. See if I can get to a 90-degree angle or even slightly further. See what that feels like. Where do you feel that? For
On the
me,
top knuckle of, yeah, where's yours?
I'm feeling it. Let's see if I can localize. Mainly in the wrist right here, but also a little bit in the hand here. And I feel it in my fingers too, like they're trying to push me a little further down, like they think they can help bend that wrist. You got to tell them, no, you can't do that. You can't bend that wrist. That's not your job. The only muscles involved in bending your wrist are in your forearm, the wrist itself, and a little bit in your muscles along the hand there. And now I'm going to see if I can relax that position. Because after I pushed it down a little bit, now it kind of feels like it's natural to be there. Like I don't feel like I'm doing a whole lot of work to keep it there. Like if I let go completely, letting go of my arm completely now, and it's still just staying at that same about 90-degree angle.
It's kind of weird, honestly. I probably couldn't have gotten it down this far had we not warmed up the way we did and gotten it down so incrementally. But
Yeah.
you're right, it feels a little natural, even though it's completely not.
Mm-hmm.
I do want my fingers to go forward a little bit, though. Like, let them extend. That's
Mm-hmm.
funny you said that. I felt it right here, too, in the pinky, on the top of the pinky.
Yeah. And I feel this a little bit in my, like kind of the base of my thumb muscles of that hand. Like my my thumbs tend to get a little tight, and all that's got to go through your wrist. Um, Now, where do you feel any tightness at this point? Anywhere in that
Just,
area?
I think all the tightness I felt is kind of diminished. I feel a little numbness right up here.
Numbness? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But the tightness is in the thumb base, like you said, and the index. But I feel like if I just kind of open my hand a little bit, it would get better and let it just like this kind of natural,
That's a
like
good.
a yeah.
Kind of let it go flat for a little bit. See if you can make your hand real flat,
I see. I can't.
same angle.
It's hard to do that. I would have to actually increase or decrease the decline.
Okay, that's a good thing to know because
And my
really
index is, yeah, good.
when we're talking about flexibility, you might think, oh, okay, this is a wrist stretch or this is an ankle stretch. But in reality, all these muscles from everywhere, up to the tips of your fingers or up to at least your first joint there, all the way going down to your elbow, up to your shoulders. All of these things are being put into a new stretch position when we're doing this. So you kind of want to think of a whole stretched chain and remember that anything along this whole chain from your shoulders, even at upper back, I can even feel this a little bit in my upper back now. Um, any of those things can be tight and can prevent you from getting further into that position. And you also want to remember that, hey, tightness is optional. You can make yourself tight like we did when we made that real tight fist, but and you can be loose as well. And I'm getting a little muscle spasm in my finger as I tried to tighten my fist while being at 90 degrees there. So, and you want to think in terms of, okay, my body can be at a huge range of muscle positions. At one point, we thought we could only go this far without it being tight. But then once we found some ways to relax more muscles, we found we could be at this position and being um, just as loose as before. You mentioned a little bit of numbness. That could be just because being folded over like this, you're going to compress some of the blood vessels going into there. So you don't want to stay that way too long. So let's kind of straighten out and get the blood flowing back into your hand a little bit as we feel that.
I didn't know my wrist could go like that so far. Usually, I consider my wrist pretty limited as far as like the bending.
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever
Yeah.
one of those guys who could do that like thumb trick, where you bend your thumb all the way to your arm or something?
I doubt it.
Don't try to hurt yourself.
Yeah, maybe someday. And you can apply this knowledge to stretches all over your body. Just remembering that our body has a huge range of motion. Um, it forgets that it has that much bigger range of motion that it has because we tighten up and um, a lot of the tightening um, becomes unconscious, that we just get used to that when we get to this position, our muscles say, okay, I'm going to tighten up there. But if we are careful and gentle with them, they they can kind of let go and forget some of that learned tightness. So stretching is all about forgetting that the lessons that your body has learned over the years, that it needs to tighten up when it gets to certain spots, and remembering that, hey, there are muscles that can do whatever needs to be done to keep you at that position if you let go of the other muscles around it that are getting in the way.